What's up, everybody? It's Jesse, Justin, and Chris. We're back with Comic Conversation episode 96. It's Thursday once again, and we have a lot of good topics for you once again to talk about tonight. A lot of stuff, actually. A lot of CW, DC stuff came out recently. Some Star Wars news, and the big thing from yesterday that I'm sure everybody's talking about is, of course, Fantastic Four. So towards the end of the show, we'll get into that, what we thought about it, if we read it or not, and how far we got into the book. We'll let you know. So we got, a bunch of stuff to talk about. I'm really excited to get into it. So I do want to give some acknowledgments to some folks that are already in the chat who were here before we were. And that would be Jason Smith. He was said first. Stay Puff said second. Fish Tropic was third. So we got our top three there, rounding out the notification squad. I see Joker M21 and NES Master 80 as well, and Exile just popped in there with his blue wrench too, so very cool. Blue wrench. All right, cool. So I do want to give some shout outs as well. I see Boston and Chris too. Do want to give some shout outs to the folks who do listen to us streaming. As always, we are only live Thursday nights exclusively on YouTube, but you can hear us audio version, that is, through anywhere that you stream your favorite podcast. I almost said iPhone, iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Podbean, all those good ones. So there you go. All right, I've rambled on long enough. Let's go ahead and kick it over to Exile State Comics and see what he's been up to in the past week.
Nothing. Recovering, man. I got sick and it like beat me up for a couple weeks. So
yeah,
in recovery mode. I got books. I just got to make a video about them and, things of that sort. But no, everything's kind of back on track now. And
good.
Definitely have Sunday morning comics again this weekend. So get that back on track at least.
Yeah, we missed you last week. I know you had to dip out because you were not feeling so good. So I'm glad to see you're much better shape.
Yeah.
That's good.
I was in rough shape last week about this time.
Yeah. Hope you were resting up.
Yeah.
So you got a nice backlog of comics?
Yeah. I actually dug through and read some old X-Men stuff and whatever while I was just in bed on painkillers. So it was pretty sweet.
Yeah. Well, when you're like that, you read through a book and it's like, wait a minute, I have no idea what I just read. I gotta go back and reread it.
Yeah. I've gotten bad, especially reviewing books and stuff. So I always kind of make little notes while I'm reading a book.
Yeah.
So I have those to go back through. You know what I'm saying? I always have those.
No, that's smart. All right, cool. So we'll be looking forward to Sunday morning comics this Sunday, right?
That's right.
So we'll plug it again later on as well. People who forget like we do. All right, Chris, how's it going, man? I know you're prepping for a con, so you must be pretty busy still with that.
Oh my god! So the tough part with this is just going through a bunch of boxes because of moving and everything. So it's just I know that I have all the books that I'm looking to get out. I just have to go through the boxes and find them, which is going to be an adventure on its own. Some of them are going to be easy. There's a couple of them that are just oh shit, where did I put that? Because there's a couple of pretty obscure titles that I wasn't. I didn't even know that these people worked on them because I've had them for so long, and it's before they were bigger names. So I'm like, oh, okay, great. Let me go ahead and find these again. So, but definitely looking forward to it. Just kind of preparing and figuring out what I'm going to get signed. Basically, which day that kind of comes with tomorrow. So I'll bring a bunch of books with me, and then get the layout of everything and figure out where I'm heading Saturday and Sunday, and then pretty much there, and then figure out and scope out potentially what books I'm looking to pick up and all the rest. That I think might be a little bit of a tougher call, just because the books are always moving, so there's nothing you can do about that. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited, and I will be doing as much as I can to go ahead and show everybody what I picked up, what I brought, what I got signed, everything else. So my channel's gonna be busy for the next few weeks as I get through all that type of stuff. So I should have a lot of stuff to show you guys.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah. So you're gonna be pretty busy, so that's good.
Yeah.
So all right, cool. So I've been I saw the Meg earlier in the week. Did a review of that. That's up on the channel.
Ooh.
That was It surprised me, just if you're looking for like a, fun movie, not trying to get too deep into like plot wise, just summer popcorn action flick, a little bit of horror in there if you like sharks or whatever. I just came out of that movie feeling like I had a fun time, but I don't want to spoil my review, so go ahead and check that out. But today I picked up something pretty cool. I like the Treasury Edition books, the oversized ones.
Yeah, nice.
Even like the Marvel graphic novel stuff. And I put this up on my Instagram, which is jlscomics. But it's not like near mint condition by any means, but it's Star Wars.
Nice.
The special edition for the first issue.
Yeah.
Which reprints A New Hope. But what's really cool about these is obviously it's the same issue, but you got the panels like giant, so you get to see the art like really big. So it's pretty cool. You get a pretty decent price on it too, so I was happy to find that. So added that to the collection.
Like that.
What's that? Oh, right on.
This is let's see. So Marvel Super Special Magazine. This is issue number 16. And this is like, I guess it's this recounting of all the Empire Strikes Back. And picture the walkers on the back.
Nice.
Technically, this is the first appearance of Boba Fett. Technically, because the fact is that this came out in I think right along the same time as the movie, and the comic was a little bit after that. So, but yeah, like these are cool. Like nice big panel. I mean, it's just like I mean, this one. I think yours is probably bigger than this one. Just because
I think these are 13 by 10 is what I read.
This might be just under that. But yeah, but these are cool. Just I mean, they're cool to display, and they're also cool just to have the bigger panels and everything like you said. So
right, exactly.
Yeah, those are some fun ones.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look for the next two as well. And they still do those. They just call them like artist proofs now, or
yeah, that's what I'm saying. They have a weird name for them now.
Yeah,
it's not Treasury Edition anymore.
Right. I was thinking about getting the one for there's one for witches that I want to get, and then 7 to Eternity I think has one as well. So those are pretty cool. Yeah.
That just started back up this week too, right? Or last week? I can't remember. I picked it up. I haven't read it yet.
Yeah. And Brian B, what's up, brother? Nice to have you with us. He says that they also make clear backing boards for these too. So.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So they have like cool art on the back. Actually, I'll show you the back of this one while I have it here. And what else am I doing? I got my ticket paid for, flying to Atlanta for the con, so that's locked in. So that's pretty cool.
I thought you were driving to that.
I thought about it, and I'm like, it's just probably
why
not
drive
worth it.
Why just
and driving is not exactly going to be saving money or anything. Just gas and all that. Yeah, so this is the back of this one.
Oh wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, so it's like
it's a shame.
Big size.
Ooh.
And then like, let's see, there's a big old page inside. See how big it is?
Yeah.
So cool. Yeah.
I think the toughest part with those is just trying to because you were saying it's a little beat up, but you know what?
Yeah.
Trying to find one of those in good shape is very, very tough.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Look at Leia. She looks kind of angry there, doesn't she?
Yeah, she looks pissed.
She's like, damn it, I'm in space without a helmet on.
Like Darth Vader's head behind me. What the hell's going on here?
Yeah. And Luke with his shirt like that. What the hell? That's my brother. What's he doing?
Got abs, Leia. Look at me.
But she's proven she can be in space without a helmet on.
That's true. She flies around, yeah.
That was foreshadowing.
That's right. Well, all the way back then, they were planting the seeds. So, all right, cool. So, let's go ahead and jump into the news here because we got a few things to chat about. First, I know I've always been somebody, not always, but for a couple months now, been like, yay, MoviePass. It's cool. Give it a try. It's a good idea, concept-wise, and it is. But they've really been struggling lately, and I actually canceled it. So I went over. Yeah, I went to AMC Stubs A-list. Like $20. You get you can do your orders on pre-order reserve. I should say the tickets online. You can do it for friends. You can do it for IMAX and 3D and stuff. So overall, it's a little bit more, but more value in my opinion. Plus, I have an AMC that's really close to me. So it's perfect. But not AMC, MoviePass, they were trying to do, and this is kind of what got me to cancel. A couple weeks ago, maybe last week even, they were talking about upping the price to $15 a month. Still having the surge prices. They were limiting people on like new releases and stuff. I know a lot of people are trying to see Mission Impossible, and like, what's up with the app? It's not working and stuff, and like not available for the tickets. So a lot of people complain that they dropped the price back down to the $10 a month. Yep. But with that, they're also limiting people to 3 movies per month.
Yeah.
So
I had seen on, I think it was Facebook, maybe. They had gone ahead and somebody had the greatest response of all time when it came to, you know, would you like to tell us why you'd like to cancel? And the person wrote back, as if you didn't know. That was all they put. I was like, oh my God, that's great.
Yeah, when you cancel, because I canceled the app, you have to put like, you don't have to, but they ask if you want to like say why, and they give you like a little space to type a paragraph. And I'm just like, yo, this is stupid. Like, this isn't what you started with. Like, your thing is supposed to be a good deal for people when it's just completely different than, you know, what I signed up for. So it's not working for me anymore.
Yeah. Right.
That's basically what I said
like
to them.
False advertisement. Loss.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
especially
a
for the people that like had already had the service and now they've changed it on them. Like, you know.
Or what about the people that signed up during that like week and a half where it was $15 and now it's back to 10? I'd be pissed too.
Right.
Well, you know what's crazy is just that, you know, they did. I did see they have a comparison if you ever wanted to go ahead and look and see, you know, what it is that you're getting versus, you know, Stubs versus AMC versus, you know, the MoviePass. And really, I mean, I know a lot of people think, oh, the you know, it's more expensive for this. This is cheaper. You know, I mean, if you're trying to think with your wallet, but then if you look at it, you know, I mean, the differences are humongous. Like AMC is the biggest, you know, chain of theaters in the country. So already, you know, where it's just like, and I think it's like the MoviePass only is accepted at 90% of the movie theater. So if you happen to be in that 10% where they don't accept it, you're screwed. But then again, it's just like, you know, AMC is all over the place. So it's just like they have, you know, just a, you know, bigger area for you to go ahead and enjoy the movies. But then the other thing too is that they let you see the same movie again. So if there's nothing out, like, you know what, I just want to see this, and you can do it all on the same day. Like if you wanted to, if you were just like, you know what, I have some time, like on a holiday or something. If you have something where it's just like, you know, like if you're not a Black Friday shopper, but you know that, you know, Thanksgiving gets over early, all right, not looking to do, you know, did the family thing going out. And then it's just like, all right, I'm going to watch 3 movies in a row. You can do that.
Yep, you know? Exactly. And what I was thinking was, you know, you see a movie in 3D and then you want to see it in 2D just because it's a little bit different of a feel when you do that.
Yeah.
That's what I would do with it, you know.
I mean, and just, you know, the fact is, you know, that there's no blackouts and none of that stuff. So, it's, I mean, I've been on the fence about it for a little bit too. I'm like, oh, I wonder if I'm going to be, but like after really like looking at it, I was just like, this actually doesn't seem all that bad because it's, you know, 3 movies a week, you know what I mean? And you can see the same one again if you wanted to, you know, you can stack them through. I mean, it just seems like, I mean, and I'm sure, you know, maybe at one point they'll change things here and there and, you know, but for the initial purchase of it and everything and for what you're getting, it really is like, you know, between the two, it's just like, you know, there's no comparison at all. Like, it's just like one is really inferior to the other one. And so AMC is just knocking out of the park with their thing.
Well, here's the thing, though. I used to sell door-to-door cable back in the day, and you know, you would have people that would switch, you know, between AT&T, Comcast, and you know, other companies, and they would always switch because, you know, the price went up, and you know, really, no matter who you go with, it's inevitable the price was going to always go up.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, like, you know, if you get 3 movies, because we don't have too many AMC's here. Here we got Cinemark, and it's like $8.99 a month, but you only get 1 movie. Yeah. I mean, even if you break it down to, I don't know, I remember, Jesse, if you said it was like $12, $13, $14, $15, 3 movies, it's only $5 a movie. So, I mean, I don't know. To me, it's not that bad. And also, it kind of encourages you to see other things outside of what you would usually see, because now it's like everybody just wants to see the Marvel stuff and kind of, or the comic book movies, and a lot of the other stuff just kind of gets put on the back burner or whatever. But, I don't know. It just doesn't seem that big of a deal, but I can also understand your frustration of wanting to quit for giving a price hike so soon. So yeah, maybe they should have given it a little bit of time.
They keep, it's like they're floundering around, and you know, their business model, as we understand it from the outside looking in, really isn't sustainable. It can't be, you know, especially at the $10 a month, and what's an average movie ticket, like $9 to $12.
Yeah.
You know, you pay that once a month, you're seeing 2 or 3 movies. They have to pay the theater that money. So they're only making a third of what they're paying out on you know? So I think their stock dropped to like 11 cents. It was like, I don't know how bad it is now, but I don't see that company lasting much more than maybe a month and a half, 2 months.
Yeah. I mean, if it was just, all right, we have MoviePass and nothing else, then yeah, you know, it would be fine. But it's just like, you know, I mean, up here, average movie, unless it's like, I think for matinee, it's about $13. And then if you're going to see anything that's like non-matinee, you're talking anywhere from, you know, regular price, I think it's like a little bit more than 16. And then if you're going to see like, you know, 3D and all that, $20 and over. So it's just like, I mean, so for people that are going to, if you're going to go see something in IMAX, it pays for itself on that price viewing.
Exactly.
I think a lot of people, or what people were deterred by in the beginning was that, you know, you know, I'm gonna be like, if I'm not watching 3 movies a week, I'm getting, you know, I'm losing, you know, but you're not really, just because I mean, all right, 1 week you can't see 3 movies, that's fine. It's just like, I mean, like you say, you can reserve friends and stuff like that. So it's just like, why not? It's like, yo, you want to see a movie here? Here's my thing.
Yeah, exactly. And if they sign up, I think it's within 24 hours they get that money back, like a credit to them.
So
nice.
Yeah, so like you get to like reserve 3 together. 2 of your friends sign up. You know, they get their money back to their account or whatever is attached to it. So it's pretty cool. It's a good incentive. Mr. Unknown looks like he did those installs as well. Talking to you, Edwin, I think. So, Mr. Unknown, So, okay, so let's jump into some of the movie stuff since we're talking about how to see the movie. Supergirl is announced as a movie that Warner Brothers wants to make. It's very early in the development for it. Not much is known really at this point, but we do know that Oren Uziel is writing the script. Probably like who? That's the guy who did 22 Jump Street, Mortal Kombat. He did Cloverfield Paradox, which went to Netflix. And he's actually writing, and I know TiVo on Lords, was it TiVo? It might have been, I think it was Otto maybe on Lords of the Long Box. He said Sonic the Hedgehog. This guy is the guy writing the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. It's a live action movie with couple people. Guy Pearce is replacing Michael Sheen, and then you have Jim Carrey playing Dr. Robotnik in that. So pretty interesting. But anyways, back to Supergirl. So, you know, we have Melissa Benoist on CW. So there's like already just like with the Flash and, you know, Deathstroke and stuff, they're already doing like the TV thing with these characters. And I guess they're kind of like, yay, you know, Wonder Woman did so well, you know, a female movie. Let's make more of those. So they're talking about, and we'll get to that in a second too, with Batwoman coming to the CW. But they don't basically have anybody announced other than the writer for it. So I don't know. Do you think that there's a need or a want for a Supergirl movie? Another one, I should say.
With the show being out, that's kind of a. I mean, I don't know. I think you end up drawing the same comparisons with people like, I like this Supergirl better than this one. Like, why don't they just use the TV actress and all the rest? If they use a TV cast, perfectly fine. But if they don't, they're probably going to end up having that same criticism that they've had before, like Flash and stuff like that. But the only other question I have, which Mortal Kombat are we talking? Like, which one?
I was going to say that too.
If we're going to go with, if you directed 2.
It was the first one.
Yeah.
First one,
that's the best one.
There's only 2 of them. One was.
Oh, there's a web series.
Yeah, well, all right.
I can say
that were in theaters.
I don't know.
My second one was literally one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. The second one, though, sorry, the first one, I mean, it had its moments of being cool, but then like they messed up some of the story. But you know what? overall it wasn't too bad. So if it's the first one, I can pardon him. But if it's like if it was the second one, I was like, no.
I think the most memorable thing from those is the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Right? Mortal Kombat.
Well, yeah, you know, it was funny because like everybody remembers that song, but it was like that song was on the Sega CD version of the game first. Like that's what like so that and the video and all that jazz.
Yeah.
That was all on there before it was in the movie. But like everybody like you know, so,
Yeah.
it's just like I think yeah, I mean I don't know if they're just kind of putting it out there like you said just because Wonder Woman was successful to get another female out there.
Mhm.
They could I would say they definitely could, you know, use an expansion into the characters that they're putting out there. So it's not a bad thing specifically. It's just, again, you have to do it right. And you know, it can't be done sloppy because you already have an established television show that, you know, already has fans to it. So it's just like you have to be careful what you do.
Exactly. And just any of these characters, like we could say, oh, I want that or I not. But as long as it's good, then I'm cool with it, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. As long as it's good, that's great. But with like the DC cinematic universe, whatever you want to call it now, it feels like they've had one good thing,
Yeah,
and everything else was questionable at best. So do you really want to just scrap all that and start over with this new character, or are you done with all these other characters now? You've given up and you're going in a different direction. You're just, you know, like I don't and you know, like you were saying, like whoever they cast as Supergirl is gonna catch all kinds of criticism and comparison to the TV, and it's gonna be a headache, you know. Like she's a character that you want to do like you know, like the backdoor kind of pilot thing where she shows up at the end of Man of Steel 2 or something like that, you know.
Yes.
And that way you introduce, you know, so there's no time for a backlash. There's no announcement of the script, and everybody's just gonna like start getting mad now before it even happens. She just like shows up and is there, and everybody's like, "Oh, that was cool," you know. Then you move forward, but they don't.
Looking at the picture you put up, I could see her as a superhero definitely. If like you know, if those are her real eyes, blue eyes, and
who is that?
Yeah, she looks like
her name is Saoirse Ronan. She played in Hannah, a couple other movies, The Lovely Bones.
Like, yeah, she was the little girl in Hannah.
Yep.
Yeah, so she was like the Hollywood version of X-23 kind of, because that's what Hannah was, right? She's like a little, like kind of like, you know, little just assassin. Yeah, there you go.
Yep, exactly.
Mercenary type kid. I never saw it, but I remember watching the commercials.
It was really cool. Eric Bana does a good job in it.
Yeah.
Eric Bana. Way to dust that name off.
Right. Yeah. So she's talking about casting. She would be one that I would pick for this movie.
Yeah, I could dig that.
You could see that. There was another picture I saw. Let me see if I can find it. Of Chloe Grace Moretz. Do you know her?
Hit Girl.
Yep. As like CGI'd into the Supergirl costume. Oh no, I think I put it on oh, here it is.
Why not Power Girl?
Find it.
Why not give us Power Girl?
Oh, here's a different one. Here's what Chloe Grace Moretz would look like as Supergirl. Damn it.
That's a lot like
Use your imagination.
Yeah, look at me. Oh my God.
Everybody close your eyes. Okay. Now picture Hit Girl. But now picture her in the Supergirl uniform. There you go. You're welcome.
It's not working.
Well, why are you doing that?
She one of the Spice Girls? No, Miss Hustle. No, she's not.
I agree with Justin because I think you got to kind of like put her in a cameo or something just to kind of see how the crowd reacts to it. Because if you remember Batman versus Superman, as soon as Wonder Woman came out, like, I don't know what y'all's theater was like, but the crowd at the theater I was at, they were like going nuts. And for Wonder Woman, when Wonder Woman showed up, when Wonder Woman showed up in Batman versus Superman, yeah, it's a good. It looks so like
It's a Photoshop thing.
Oh,
It's not
But
okay.
yeah, it's super fake. But
yeah, you can kind of get an idea of the red and the blue and the blonde hair.
I like the outfit. That's definitely a nice touch.
Yeah.
whatever,
Look-
man. Red Daughter of Krypton. That's the best Supergirl story, man. They should just do that. That way you can introduce all the Lantern Corps in the same movie. No? Okay. Well, maybe not, but it'd be fun.
She's got to be believable, man. Because if you look at
Yeah.
Gal Gadot from when she was on Fast and the Furious to Wonder Woman, like she really beefed up. Like it was believable. Now, if you would have put her as Wonder Woman when she was like super skinny from Fast and the Furious, I'd have been like, ah, man.
But
not a
but
good fit.
Supergirl has always been that younger,
Yeah.
like slender, like she's never been overly muscular or anything.
Yeah.
She's always been like that kind of like teenage sister type, you know?
Exactly.
Right.
Even though
She doesn't need muscles because she's just got the power.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
She's
even
more
though
powerful than Superman.
she basically was a teenager when she got sent off, and
Mhm.
then Kal-El was a baby, so she's she just landed later. But she's never like any rendition, even the Michael Turner stuff that he did with Batman Superman. She still was young, she still had that like skinnier frame to her. She didn't have that power going. So it's just like I don't see why she'd be a bad pick. Other than the fact that people might have a little bit of trouble being like, oh, she's not swearing, like what's going on,
Yeah,
because like that's what she's known for as hit girl. But I don't know. I think she'd be a good pick. I think there's a few people that you can make a case for. I just think that who do people really want to see in the role, and that's a hard one to make, just because the girl that's on TV. I mean, is she who's to say she can't translate over onto the big screen? I know that's not DC's formula. They usually don't take people from the small screen and put them up there, but
right.
I think you could like just like if you're gonna make Green Arrow into a movie or put him into the Justice League or any of that stuff, it should be Stephen Amell, because he's played the role the longest. He's people know him as Arrow.
Yeah,
I don't see why he wouldn't be able to
you
do
talk
that.
about like fan outrage when they finally announce like a Green Arrow in the movies, and it's not him. People are gonna lose their minds.
Exactly.
He's been on the big screen too.
Well, yeah, he was
in
in Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
It's
Casey
just,
Jones.
I mean, he's the natural choice for it, and it's just like, nope, we're gonna go with like, what if they went with someone like we're gonna go with James McAvoy for this? It's gonna be great. It's like, why would we do that? Like this guy, we already know him.
Jared Leto.
No.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, we're gonna see that outrage. It's not gonna happen. I mean, they made CW stop using Manu Bennett as Deathstroke just because they might make a Deathstroke movie in the future. Like the potential for him to be like, obviously he had the little clip, but they don't like to have those characters. It's a different universe in the multiverse, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, Supergirl's not even on the same Earth as the other superheroes, so
yeah,
they're even fractured on their own TV universe. So.
Yeah, I will say this though: if they continue with like the Zack Snyder lore, they actually planted seeds for Supergirl all the way back to Man of Steel. They did a prequel comic that kind of talks about it, but also when he went into the the spaceship he found.
Yeah,
there was a couple pods in there, and one of them was open, and that was supposed to be Supergirl's pod. Like she came and crashed and left like a long time ago. So they could either pick up with that or just start something completely new, because it's supposed to be. They basically were shot at, like Chris said, shot into space at the same time, right?
Yeah,
from Krypton, and like she got diverted and all that stuff. But
like she got off like a minute after him or some crap.
Exactly right. But if they go with what he did, she came like centuries ago, basically.
Yeah.
But didn't Stephen, what's his name, Cavill, or Henry Cavill, I'm sorry, quit as Superman? Is that what I heard from?
No, cover the news cycle.
Yeah, he said he didn't want to do it anymore. He departed was what the word was.
Oh wow,
departed. Yeah.
But you know what though? I look at it like this. He's probably sick of it for now, because he's probably got a lot more movie offers coming in, and it's just like Mission Impossible, I think, is doing better than they thought. Considering just the summer movie and everything else that's around it. I think that he's like, you know what, I can get other roles, I can do other things. But I mean, who's to say he's not going to come back and be Superman again? I mean, by the time that it could just be a dispute over what it is that the direction they're trying to take it, or what it might just be that
Oh, you know what?
Just trying to shuffle too much at once, and it's just like, look, when you guys get your shit together, I'll be back. But for now, I'm done.
I remember that. I remember it was on Twitter. I think it was the Hollywood Reporter put like a post up, and that's probably what people read, but they didn't click on the link. If you click on the link, it said Henry Cavill departs, Man of Steel sequel canceled, and there was a link.
Yeah.
If you clicked on the link, it brought you to a Rickroll.
Oh, I gotcha.
So it was actually a prank.
Yeah.
I mean,
you know that "Never Gonna Give You Up" song? That was the link.
I was because I can't see a guy like him. I mean, especially if you're into work as Superman, I can't see them not having you under like an ironclad contract where it's just like, that's why I say, if it's something like that where it's just like, you know what, this guy, like, where he's just like, look, for now you guys don't have anything for me. Get your shit together. I'll come back. But for now, I don't want to hear it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, because you can't just lose Superman like that. That's insane.
Yeah.
He wants to kick it with Tom Cruise.
Exactly. Over there, and that was a pretty good movie, I gotta say. All right, so we're talking about CW. News came out that Batwoman has been cast. We knew that they were going to have Batwoman, but now we know it's going to be Ruby Rose as Batwoman. And right now, it's basically she's just going to be part of the. They do like an annual crossover each year, so she's going to be part of that story. If she's received well, if the character does well, if people like her, then they might fully develop a series for her, which would be like next year, or even like 2020, I would say. You know Ruby Rose? She was actually in the Meg, which we just saw, or I just saw. She was in John Wick 2. Yep. Return of Xander Cage. She was in one of the Resident Evils. I forget which one. And then she was on Orange is the New Black too. So that's kind of like the main body of her work, which is really honestly not a whole lot to go on. But I think that, in my opinion, she's a good fit. I'm happy with the casting choice. So I don't know what you guys think.
Works for me. Like, I don't know. I kind of trust them at this point. They've done a good job casting people. And like, I would say that she's maybe a bigger type name for them to pull in. So kind of adds a little bit of credibility to what they're trying to do. Yeah.
Exactly. And I kind of like, I want to see her get with Maggie over on Supergirl. I think that would be, not like too much of that. Just, just some like little nod to that.
I guess it will depend on what world she resides,
Right. So we'll have to see.
She's got to be on the main CW universe, like with Arrow, because they've mentioned Gotham several times on Arrow.
Yeah.
So I would think that, but who knows?
Yeah,
this could be the crisis that like merges the Earths or something.
Yeah, crisis of merged Earths.
Right.
Yeah, so we'll have to see. Another thing that came out this week, we talked about it a long time ago. Really sad news is Margot Kidder passed away. Right, Lois Lane, the original Lois Lane.
Yep.
The Lois Lane, if you ask me. So it came out all this time now later that it was ruled a suicide. Her death was ruled a suicide. So really sad.
It seemed like it was accidental suicide.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I read the report earlier today.
Right.
It didn't like say that. I don't know. It just said it was an overdose, but it didn't say it was like intentional or anything like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But my hope is that it was just accidental.
Yeah. I mean, it's still pretty tragic, but
oh yeah.
Yeah. So, but it goes to show that like, money or fame or this and that, suicide, depression, I should say, can affect anybody. So, even if it was an accidental death from an overdose, I mean, people take the drugs and the medications and stuff to to push the depression down, you know what I mean? So maybe that was part of it, where why was she taking the drugs in the first place? I don't even know what the drugs were in her system.
It was a combination of drugs and alcohol.
Okay.
But she'd been battling depression and things like that. But she also had actual like physical ailments and things like that she'd been battling for a long, long time.
Yeah, she went through something really major in the 90s. I remember, with like bipolar disorder, and she was actually like out in the streets and stuff at one point.
Dang.
So yeah, she had a pretty rough go of it for a while there, and I thought that she had a pretty good like support network around her, but guess not. I did. If anybody is listening, and depressed or thinking about suicide, I'll put a link in the description for this. There is a suicide hotline. It's 1-800-273-TALK. It's 8255. So 800-273-8255. I just want to put that out there because suicide is a pretty serious thing. It's extremely serious, I should say. And, it affects more than just the one person. It affects everybody around them. And it could affect anybody. So you never know who is suffering from depression around you. So just want to put that out there. So there you go. Okay, on a lighter note, we know a little bit more about Jon Favreau's live-action Star Wars series. We kind of already knew that it would be set just a couple of years after the Battle of Endor, between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. What we're hearing now is it's going to be about $100 million budget for their first season. It'll be 10 episodes, but $100 million is it's pretty massive. It'll be one of the most expensive shows pretty much ever. It's a lot of money. The other thing we know, potentially, pretty sure this was true, that it will start production in October. So pretty soon. And if you're wondering where it's going to be, it's not going to be on, XD or Disney, or it's going to their streaming service. This will be one of the first. Yeah, it'll be one of the first shows for the streaming service, which comes out next year, later next year. So there's that. And then there's a website called makingstarwars.net. What they're saying is that the show will basically take place on the planet of Mandalore, which is where all the a lot of the famous bounty hunters come from. Boba Fett, for example. I know you just showed that the first appearance of Boba Fett, right? Actually, a couple of days ago, Jeremy Bullock said he's retiring from convention scene, from signing anything. He's done. He was the guy who played Boba Fett. But you have like Sabine Wren and Pre Vizsla and some other folks that came from that are Mandalorians. But that's pretty cool. I hope they kind of like pick up from. Did you guys watch Rebels?
No, I never got a chance.
Okay.
I gotta go back. I gotta binge that like crazy. I heard it was really, really good.
I highly recommend it. It's really good. Same with Clone Wars. That's good too. But that took place kind of leading up to A New Hope. And then you get in the last season there, you had what do you call it? What was it called? It was leading up to the Siege of Mandalore. It was called. It's a story which took place a couple years before. It was 2 BBY, which means 2 years before the Battle of Yavin. So that's from one of the first fights, actually, from the stories. But basically, where it started was with the heroes of Mandalore. That was kind of the last time we saw it. The planet is controlled by the Imperials. Sabine's dad is there. She's got to go rescue her dad. And basically, it's all this Imperial-controlled, stronghold. So if this takes place right after Return of the Jedi, all of that Imperial stuff goes down, like it's going away, right? So what's happening on that planet? Also, we might see a little bit of how the First Order came to rise. So, like the downfall of the Empire while the First Order is kind of rising from the ashes of that, all centering around the bounty hunter planet. So I don't know. That sounds pretty cool to me. And all of that tied into like a $100 million budget. So A lot of stuff there that would be cool. And there's going to be a lot of new characters, so I guess a lot of new Mandalorians. I don't know. What do you guys think? You looking forward to that, or does that sound cool at all to you?
That sounds awesome. I mean, I guess I have to figure out when, where, how. The Disney streaming service is coming out, and definitely want to see that because I think it's going to be really just. I mean, they've teased it for so long. I mean, people have said it a million times. They're going to do a live action. You'll see. And now to actually get it is really, really awesome. So, I can't wait for it. I think it's going to be one of the more fun things to watch. And then on top of that too, whatever other content they're going to have on that is going to be really, really cool. So, I'm looking forward to it. Definitely.
I don't have much of an opinion. I'm not like a big.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Star Wars other than the original.
Well, this plays right in the original, man.
What's up?
I will tell you, it's not J.J. Abrams, and it's not Rian Johnson. Okay, you do have Dave Filoni and Kathleen Kennedy attached, but you're not going to get. I know you had some complaints about some of the movies. I think you're going to get some. I think it's going to be completely different in terms of the whole SJW aspect with Jon Favreau attached to it. So I think give this a chance. If you didn't like the movies. I should say, since you didn't like the movies, maybe give the TV show stuff a chance. I think you'll like it much better.
Yeah, I'm not boycotting Star Wars or anything like that. I mean, I, like even Solo, I'll watch. I don't want to pay to watch it, but I'll watch it. But I agree with Stay Puff. He says that he wants Thrawn in the movies, and that's the blue guy, right? That kind of looks like Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, he does look kind of cool. And actually, when I was reading the comic. The limited series that I think they just wrapped that up. That was actually really cool, man. So I definitely have a little bit of interest in that character. But yeah, I mean, I'll give anything a shot. I mean, I'm not like boycotting Star Wars or anything.
Yeah. Thrawn would be really cool. I was kind of thinking like if they did like something more with Darth Maul and Boba Fett, kind of like coming out of the Solo movie, right? Exactly, like the underworld stuff. They could do. That was the same time frame where Thrawn joined the Empire, so that would be perfect for that. So I mentioned Jeremy Bulloch retiring. Another person that's semi-retiring is none other than Stan Lee. They came out and said that he's no longer doing any public signings. You're not going to be seeing him on the convention scene anymore. He's going to be doing still the private stuff. It's going to be kind of like a secret as to when and where these happen, because they don't want people just like showing up or whatever could happen. And it's mostly going to go through a couple like facilitators and stuff. So that's pretty major, I think. And one more step towards no more SIGs coming out of Mr. Lee. So, no more public signings is a big thing, if you ask me.
Yeah. No, that's big, but probably for the best. Like,
yeah, I agree.
It's time for him to be done with that.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree with what there's. Go ahead, Justin.
I was just saying, it makes you wonder, like, this is now happening after he separated ties with those people. So it makes you wonder if it was just those people that were pushing, Yeah,
I think so. They're, they get their cut of it all, Yeah. So they definitely had their motivations. They were like propping him up basically and like, moving his hand and, it was such that Kia Morgan, son of a bitch.
Well, I agree with what they were saying on Lords of the Long Box last night. I don't. It's not Jim, not Tim, but the other guy who's, I guess he's kind of new. I forget his name.
The Autobot.
Yeah. But he was like, if you haven't gotten Stan Lee's signature by now, I mean, let it go. I mean, because Stan Lee had so many conventions, just at least over the past 5 years. Like, if you didn't get it, you just didn't want it. You couldn't look at a guy who's in his 90s and be like, "Oh, I'll just get him next time." Because you don't know if he's going to be. You don't know if he's going to be alive. So I took advantage of every opportunity. But I can also see people that were like, "Well, I don't want to do it because I want to spend $100 or $150." And well,
was that. Like
now you're not gonna be able to.
I don't want to wait in line for 6 hours.
Yeah, and actually his lines weren't that bad in my opinion.
Yeah.
Dude, like $100 just to meet the guy and then everything. Because honestly, I personally wasn't trying to get him to sign, any old comic or whatever it was. I didn't have anything. I had 2 books that if I was gonna get him to sign, 2 of them that I would have had him sign. I had What If Stan Lee was What If the original Marvel Bullpen was the Fantastic Four, and then what the hell is the other one? There's another one that like he makes a little cameo appearance and it's like a a little joke cameo. But it's just like unless it's like something that he either did or I had just had those. And to be honest, all I wanted to really say to the guy was thank you. I didn't spend $100 to say thank you to the guy. So I was just like, you know what? That's all right. And I'm not like, oh, I'll just get him next time. I was just like, don't need Stan's signature. Because I could see how everybody, like, people getting books that he had nothing to do with sign. It was just like, Spawn #1 signed by Stan Lee. For what? You know what I mean?
Well, there is a tribute to him in either Spawn 1 or 2.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that, like,
I get you.
Like for me, I wanted to have something that, like, I don't really have much of the stuff that he worked on specifically, just because, you know what I mean? Like, he was, that's like Silver Age, old Spider-Man and stuff like that like I can't afford now and I didn't have back in the day. So it's just like, I just figured just let it go. It's not a big deal. And then, like, the first opportunity I had to meet him was in 2013. And I said, just, whatever. I didn't care. But now it's just like, and then every other year when he was like, yeah, I'm not doing appearances anymore. And then he kept coming back. It was just like, like the hype for him was just ridiculous. And I was like, dude, I'm not waiting in that big line. I'm not paying the extra money. And I'm not having to deal with all this extra stuff. Because that, what I had heard is, if you it's an assembly line, you give them your stuff. Hi, Stan, how are you? And then, you get thrown out the door. And it's just like, make sure that you don't forget your stuff. It's just like that. I don't want to pay for that. Like that's not that's really like not meeting him. That's just kind of being shuffled by. I mean,
but I've seen the same thing for William Shatner and who's the other guy? Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, they just.
But I feel like Patrick Stewart at least would talk to you. Shatner doesn't give a damn about anybody. At least in my opinion, from what I've seen, he's just like, oh. You know what I mean? But I would never pay money to see William Shatner. Not because I'm not, not because I don't like Star Trek and nothing like that, because that's not true. But it's just I'm not there for William Shatner. Like if I went to a Star Trek convention, all right, here we go. But if I'm at a Comic-Con, I don't care about William Shatner.
Funny you mentioned Sir Patrick Stewart. Justin, you want to tell him the good news about?
Oh yeah, Patrick Stewart. Patrick Stewart announced with the most recent con that he's coming back to reprise his role as Captain Picard on a new Star Trek series. So that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Does that mean
it'll be like 20 years, I think, after TNG ended.
Yeah,
kind of like exploring what his life's like. I think, and it'll be on All Access, the same streaming place as Discovery. So,
yeah, should be cool. I mean, what he said about it, there's still, very much in the initial stages of kind of planning it out and stuff. But he may not be a captain or an admiral. He may not even be with Starfleet anymore. There's no telling what role he's going to have at this point in his life. So, it's kind of very cool to see.
I'd like to see him be like a ambassador or something, kind of like dealing with higher level issues than what one ship can deal with.
Yeah,
because that seemed to be the role that you would see a lot of the people take later on. Like I remember, I think Spock and I want to say Scotty was at one point too. When he showed back up in Next Generation, he was something higher than just a regular Starfleet. Like they basically look to those guys to run the universe after the fact that run the galaxy after the fact that they've seen it all and they help shape it. So. I would love to see Picard as an ambassador,
supreme leader Picard.
I don't want him being a tyrant. I just want him to be like, hey, look, we're helping shape things still. Like it's the same John Luke. Just I don't wear the they don't beam me anymore. I sit here. I'm in an office now.
Yeah.
Is Shatner going to be
on this ship? We beam you.
Shatner would be long dead at that point. I mean,
yeah, he died in Generations.
Yeah, he got blown out the side of the ship.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the beginning he got sucked out, and then he came back at the end for the.
Yeah. That caught me off guard when that happened. I was like, "Whoa, did that just happen?"
That happened really quick in this movie.
Yeah, like boom, like in the first few minutes. Yeah.
Spoilers for a movie that came out 20 years ago.
That's right. Spoiler alert. We learned on Comic Frontline that spoiler alerts are still important. So, all right. So, I guess we could talk about Black Mask and not the studio. We're talking about the villain. He's going to be going up against Birds of Prey for that movie. He was announced as the villain for Birds of Prey.
That's cool.
Yeah, I can dig it.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that working. He's a crime boss. He'll have like a crime syndicate and a whole bunch of goons and stuff. So, be a lot for the Birds of Prey to fight.
Yeah, dealing with the seedy underbelly of Gotham.
That's right.
Yeah. That's where I think he's a good villain too. Like he's gonna shine out and show, where it is that a lot of the real horrible crimes are happening that he's in charge of. Because I mean, when you read him in the comics and just other iterations of him, like games and stuff like that, they tell you this guy is really no joke. Like he's bad news all the way. So he'll be a good person for them to go up against. I think that it would be smart not to kill him. I think he would definitely be worth either putting him in jail for a little bit so he can bust back out, or he gets away. Just because to have him go up against Batman would be great. Or just to have them have to deal with him some more would be awesome. But we'll see what happens because they do have a tendency to go ahead and kill these villains off in these DC movies.
Mm-hmm. I think it's like throw him in Blackgate for a while.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Throw him in Blackgate, let him, and then you could even, as he's in there, you can see him building up in there, like what moves he's making for when he gets back out on the street, because he's that type of guy. Like he's that type of dude that's always he's got his family's very rich. Like his family's, I think, almost as rich as the Waynes. So it's he's got all these different connections, and but he's basically, I guess, the mirror of Batman if Batman went down the path of crime.
Matches Malone. He's Matches Malone.
Not Matches Malone. Matches Malone.
That was when Batman lost his memory or whatever and became a crime boss. That was his name.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
But
he got amnesia or something, right?
Yeah, but he came back and he's all right. I think he's worse than Matches Malone. I think Matches Malone. He might have been a little ruthless, but this dude's just gives Matches Malone nightmares. That's what I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm telling you, Black Mask is he's a badass villain. I like him a lot. He's a good guy.
I mean, I feel like that. And then if you just go a couple weeks back though, Damian killed him or almost killed him or something. So Damian beat you up, man.
Yeah,
Damian sucks. Can't go by that because Damian's a little savage himself. He's a maniac. He doesn't care. He doesn't think twice. He's all right, so this guy's gonna cause trouble again. Let's slice his head off. And they're like, no, you can't do it. There's we can get him arrested. No, that takes too long. That's Damian's whole MO.
It was messed up though because it ended with a gun to his head and then blam is the next panel, and then it switched to a different story. So you're just like, did he really kill him?
Yeah, I mean, let's put it this way. He didn't, then he probably crippled him for life or whatever. Because Damian, you have to Damian pretty much is a criminal in his own right. You have to talk him down from doing bad things. He's not the same as any other Robin. He's actually the type of person that's just look, dude, all right. He's the bad cop in the good cop bad cop relationship, and it's just the other cops have to take the bad cop out of the room because he's gonna kill the guy.
Yeah.
But
people in the chat are agreeing with us. Deadpoolica says Damian's a badass.
He is. He's a bad little kid, man.
Yeah. Trained by Talia.
Yeah,
when Batman.
When you grow up, born into the League of Assassins. I mean, what and then your grandfather's Ra's al Ghul telling you you need to cleanse the earth a little bit. There's too many people. That's what you get. Still in rehab. He still needs to learn how to play with others. He hasn't done that yet.
He's trying. He's on the Teen Titans.
Yeah, that's right. Any Magic the Gathering fans here other than Justin?
Yay!
You? Anybody in the chat?
I still have a ton of cards that I need to
MTG?
sell off. But yeah.
Okay. So the reason I ask is because IDW has partnered with Wizards of the Coast, and they're going to be making a Magic the Gathering comic book coming out in November. Vita Ayala is doing it. It centers around this character named Chandra. Chandra. A lot of people like. So sounds pretty cool. I definitely want to check it out. Yeah. I mean, Justin, you want to?
Yeah, I mean, I'm into it. Like, Chandra was one of the first decks. Like, a Chandra deck was one of the first ones I picked up when I started back playing not too long ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm definitely in for it. I'll be picking it up. Hopefully, there's some cool like variant covers.
Yeah, right.
Get some cool artists on that because it's a cool character to do it.
I mean, I was gonna say they have so many just talented artists that do the artwork for the cards. So it's just like, I mean, there could be some really, really pretty variants that come out with that if they let some of the guys, who design the cards make some of those covers too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. The way they're kind of billing this one though is like you don't really like if you know the game, that's cool, but you don't need to know the game for this book.
Right.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. For somebody who isn't familiar with Magic the Gathering, what do you think we could expect from the comic?
It'll just be like a high fantasy type book.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's a really deep story. I mean, so if you,
so it's gonna be ongoing, not no limited.
No.
Yeah, as far as we know from the release and everything, yeah, it's just an ongoing series.
If they're starting with Chandra, I mean so Chandra, isn't she a Planeswalker?
Yep.
Yeah. So they're starting from Planeswalkers, which I don't know the full history on them, but like I just know like Magic series. Like I mean that like Justin said, that was a few years ago. Like, I mean, but this has been going. They've been having Magic decks since like I want to say
93.
Like, yeah, since 93, and the story's gone from there. So it's just like, I mean, there's a huge story and a ton of different characters, put in there and everything. That I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. So it's like they used to have books and like actual like novels that would come out with every different like block they call them, which is like 3 sets of cards. They'd have a different novel that went along with it. So. I mean, there's a lot that they can pull from with that, just because, like, 25 years of history that they've built.
Massive mythology. Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, Mr. Unknown said, "What's it about?" So let me read you what Jeremy Jarvis said. He's the franchise director for Magic. He says, "We are thrilled to have Vita and Harvey. It's Harvey Talabau, who worked on like X-Men and Green Arrow and stuff. Introduce you to Chandra, to her story, her quirks, and her incredible powers." Set in the near future of the multiverse, these never-before-told stories will breathe life into Chandra, her cohorts, and her enemies in new and visually striking ways. And this is what Justin said. Knowledge of cards is optional. Love of characters required. So if you like you said, fantasy, high adventure type stuff, then if that's a genre that's cool to you, I think this book will be right up your alley. So
yeah.
And who's the publisher again?
IDW.
Yep. Oh, IDW. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be interesting. I'll give any number one a shot.
Yeah, and that hits in November, right?
Yep, November.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I mean, if you're looking for, I guess, speculation type stuff on it, I don't know really.
Cards.
Maybe they'll come bagged with an exclusive card or something.
Oh my God.
That would be nuts, man.
Bring the 90s back.
Yeah, right.
I would say like this: if you're looking for like
X-Force, #1.
for like speculation value and all that jazz, like I wouldn't go into it with that. If you're looking just to, like you said, just to give it a try and see what it's like, I would go with that. Just because I mean, there's.
Oh, I wouldn't go into it for speculation.
No, yeah, this is
when it comes to modern comics, that's not me.
Yeah, well, no, I was gonna say just
this is get it, read it, have fun with it.
Yeah. There's a lot that there's so much story that goes in behind it that's just like it's really tough to be like, okay, like what should I be looking for? Just like they said, knowledge of the cards is optional. Just because if you go back to that, so it seems like this is a like standalone story aside from the actual history that they're doing.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. It's all new stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, it like it's a fun game, and I enjoyed it when I was into it and playing and everything. But I just know that there's a lot. They like the story that they came up with just from the cards itself was really good. So this with the right writing and all the people behind it is going to be good, because Wizards of the Coast, like they have a huge following, and they're a big company, so like they got to do their best to make this successful.
Right, exactly. So definitely looking forward to it. We'll bring you more on it as we know, and I'm sure when it comes out, we'll do a review here on the show. So definitely want to be checking that out. Speaking of like indie type stuff, there was a image book a while back that I thought was really cool called Cowboy Ninja Viking. We've talked about it in the past. Chris Pratt was set to be the main character. It was pulled from Universal's schedule. It was supposed to come out, I think, next summer, but they pulled it. I don't know if they're doing reshoots, delays, or the trend these days. It happened with Cloverfield Paradox. It happened with a movie called Mowgli, which you may have heard about, kind of like a Jungle Book thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say they just
they pulled that. And Netflix is picking those up. So when I heard this, one of my first thoughts was, oh, maybe they're kicking off the schedule and they're gonna dump it over on Netflix. Netflix will buy it. So who knows? That's pretty much all we know. But disappointing to me, because I thought that was a cool story. Basically, this guy got these different personalities. One's a cowboy, one's a ninja, one's a Viking, and stuff happens. And it's pretty cool. I would pick it up, check out a trade of it or something. Read it. It's a good story. That's pretty much all I wanted to say about that. Talking about reshoots, X-Men Dark Phoenix. They're saying it's still happening. Same with New Mutants. They were talking about it. Maybe wasn't because of the merger. But it is. However, Dark Phoenix will be undergoing 3 months of reshoots. That's pretty extensive. Wow. Yeah. For the end.
For all that for the end?
For like the last, the third act or whatever. Now, my thinking is not because it sucks, but because they want to mix in some MCU stuff. That's my thought on it.
Probably.
So, right, I'm trying to put a positive spin on it. And
I figured to make it more Disney.
Option. Yeah.
No, not to make it more Disney specifically. I would just think if they're gonna if it's something where they do want to do that. I mean, maybe they, like you said, just kind of, I don't know. I wouldn't say time travel, but like show different events through time. If she's gone Dark Phoenix and she's all that powerful at that point where she can basically tear reality apart. Like maybe that's where they're gonna go with it a little bit.
And then the Shi'ar show up.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's when the Avengers get involved. And they have a barbecue at Avengers Mansion. And it's wonderful. There's softball played. Frisbee being tossed around, night crawlers bamping all over the place, catching that frisbee, man. It's beautiful.
That's what happens.
And then Wolverine shows up, Hugh Jackman, and tries to catch it and stabs it, and the game's over.
Too many schnicked.
Yeah. So hey, we wrote them. They should pay us.
Right.
So we'll bring you more on that when we know. That's pretty much all we know right now. Just they're doing some reshoots. So, they just released kind of a solicit for. Do you guys read DC Nation? It's their magazine thing.
Yeah.
This thing, DC Nation. So they're talking about issue number 4. Okay. The cover for it says, for issue number 4 of that, says in 21 days, one of these is going to die. So there's pictures of Harley Quinn, Cyborg, Booster Gold, Kyle Rayner's on there, Arsenal's on there, and I think it was Red Robin who was on there as well. So
oh god,
those are your characters. One of them's going to die. The 21 days, that lines up with the launch of Heroes in Crisis, Tom King's book. So I don't know. Death in there. Tom King's bringing us to death. It's probably not going to be Harley or Booster Gold because they've been saying they're murder suspects for a while. So probably one of the other ones. Yeah. Cyborg. Yeah, could be. He killed him. Killed his movie.
Right. They can't do Red Robin because he just came back from being dead, basically.
Yeah.
Even though he wasn't dead, but everybody thought he was for 30 issues.
Red Robin.
I think the cash grab would be Harley. But let's face it, whoever they kill, they're going to bring back in less than a year anyway.
Kill, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because there's some names on there that, there's some names they mentioned that they don't have to bring them back within a year. You can leave them go. Like
Well,
if
yeah.
Supergirl dies, you can leave him dead for a few years before doing anything else. If Booster Gold dies, you can leave him dead for a few years.
Yeah.
Before say anything.
Even Kyle Rayner isn't like the most
Rayner.
popular.
Red Robin, just because that's Tim Drake. I mean, it'd be weird to kill him off because they had to sit there and like he was in that shadow dimension for all that time and everything. So it's just like I don't see him going. But I think your top candidates is going to be Kyle, Booster Gold, and Cyborg that get axed. Or maybe Arsenal too. You never know.
Yeah.
Kyle would be the easiest one to bring back though, because you could just write it up to like the Guardians or the White Lantern power or something brought him back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But nobody's gonna care about. That's what's the cash grab is Harley. Nobody's gonna flock out and buy a bunch of copies of Kyle Rayner dying or Booster.
Yeah, but they're not also gonna kill.
The thing is, they said that she's a murder suspect. So whoever is dying, and I'm kind of attaching those two things. Like someone died, I'm assuming it was a murder, and she's a murder suspect. So I think that she's gonna make it out of there. And I do agree that would be like the most headline grabbing name of all those. But I don't think that's. It should be like an obvious choice. So in a murder mystery, right, you don't always go with the obvious one. I think it's gonna be one of the other ones, and I don't know. Kyle,
we should put some money on it. We should just see who.
Yeah, make our own Deadpool, right? I'm going. We can come back to it if you want. I'm going to go with Kyle on it. That's my pick, Kyle Rayner.
I say Cyborg.
Cyborg, okay.
I don't know. I think Kyle. I mean, I said my fault. I think. I mean, because Arsenal. I mean, he's. I don't really see that people being, oh my God, Arsenal's gone. Like, Speedy.
Yeah.
No. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like,
Booster Gold.
Well, we have Red
Arrow. Mad if Booster Gold died.
We have Red Arrow on
Bastard.
Teen Titans, so we don't need Arsenal anymore.
Yeah.
So let me put in the chat. Who are the names? Harley Quinn, Booster Gold,
Jason, Kyle,
Cyborg.
Brian B said Kyle makes sense for the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You kill him.
Heroes in Crisis.
Yeah. He's a Green Lantern Corps member. So it's like, there's many Green Lanterns. You could easily leave him dead for a few years and be like, oh, like Kyle Rayner's back. Like, how did he come back? Oh, like, some type of thing where it's just like, he ends up being kind of like what they did with, with Barry Allen, and kind of like what they did with Hal Jordan as a Spectre, where it's like they would needed to come back to be able to like balance the universe out again.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Harley Quinn ain't dying.
Yeah. Dan Didio a while back, I think it was during Infinite Crisis, he said you can't have an infinite story without a Flash dying.
Yeah.
So it's funny, Brian B mentioned where did he put it? He mentioned Wally. I think Wally West he mentioned.
So the Corps is going to go after Wally.
Yeah. So maybe Wally dies too. We're assuming there's only one death.
Which Wally?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because Wally hasn't died in a while, if at all.
Which Wally? Wally just came back at Rebirth. That was Rebirth. Number 1 was Wally West came back.
Yep, yeah.
He'd been dead for how long since then?
It's gonna be a evil Wally.
That's what Brian B says.
Like a dark Wally. Yeah.
No, I haven't killed. Just Quick. Just Quick should go. Get rid of her. The female Flash. Done.
Too many flashes. That should be the name of the story. Too many flashes.
Have they killed off Jay Garrick? Kill off Jay Garrick too.
Yeah, he's too old now.
Make some old people cry.
We don't need him anymore.
Well, there's
metal hat.
There's too many people using the Speed Force, so the Flash can't run as fast as he needs to run.
That's right. And then Jay Garrick's like, "Oh no, what happened to me?" Like I'll tell you what happened. Jay Garrick.
Yeah.
It should be someone embarrassing that kills him too.
Should be Damian. Have Damian just
Damian
kills the DC universe, kind of like they did with what was it, the Punisher?
Yeah, Punisher did it.
Yeah, so like do that like with Damian. Evan says shout out to old people.
The old people.
So
have him get killed by like a renegade Blue Beetle or something like that. That's how it should go down.
Yeah. So, all right. So I want to tell you guys. I read an article from Variety, came out today. I'm going to tell you what it said, give you the highlights of it. Then we'll get into the Fantastic Four review. But it was talking about what Sony is going to look like in terms of their Marvel characters in the movies after Venom, assuming it does well, assuming Venom does well. So they have about 900 characters that they can use.
Wow.
Yeah, based on the whole Spider-Man lore. That's a lot. Yeah. Now that Marvel's bought Fox, they're the only major studio outside of Disney that actually has licensing rights to the character. So they're, I think, really trying to hold on to what they have. What they said was that they're open to making comic book movies kind of like Logan or Deadpool, so more adult leaning. So non-4 quadrant movies.
Yep.
Rated R stuff. So that's pretty cool. What they also said was that they're open to having characters from the Spider-Man films pop up in the Marvel movies, and then vice versa as well. And kind of the first aspect of that was a recent announcement that Nick Fury and Maria Hill are going to be in Far From Home. So you're going to see some like SHIELD agents there in that movie. So that's pretty cool. We saw that obviously in the first one with like Iron Man and Captain America on the screen. But what they want to do is do a whole series of like sequels, spin-offs, standalone movies. Couple big things here where we've talked about it for a while. There was supposed to be a Silver and Black movie, Silver Sable, Black Cat. Scrapped. They're not doing it. However, they're both getting solo movies instead of being in the same movie together. The guy said, we believe Black Cat is enough of her own character with a great backstory and canon to justify her own film.
I guess. I mean, I can agree with that, but Silver Sable, man, come on.
That's gonna be a tough sell.
Yeah, I mean, they would have to kind of just build her out on their own, like a brand new story with her, you know. But still doing Morbius with Jared Leto. Kraven the Hunter is still coming. Then you got Silk, Night Watch, and get this: have you guys ever heard of Jackpot?
No.
No.
Well, guess what? She's getting a movie.
Jackpot.
Yeah.
Should I go to the casino and just win all the time?
There's a couple characters named Jackpot. She came out like, I don't know, 2007, I think it was. Right out of Brand New Day. She was in there. And I don't really know much about her. And honestly, I'd have to look it up. I think most people would. And that was pretty surprising to me. Jackpot. Like I said, they have over.
I don't know what her powers are.
They have like 900 characters to play with. And they chose Jackpot. And again, who is she?
So is that like? I'm assuming just because I'm looking at the power set for, I guess, the most recent one, and I guess so. Her thing, I guess, she's called Jackpot because she has a ton of power. She's basically like a female Superman almost. Just she doesn't fly. Superhuman strength and stamina, dramatic gymnastics. She's not good at hand to hand, which makes her like Superman. Let's see, this is some invulnerability to injury. So I guess like that's her whole deal. Like she can't fight, but she can take a beating and you don't have to worry about her.
That seems like more of a defensive power.
Pretty much. You guys
like, hey, you can punch me and it won't hurt. That's my power.
They should just
what's your offense?
They should call her instead of Jackpot, Rope-a-dope. Let's go, beat me up.
Rope-a-dope.
So, couple comments in the chat here. So Jason says, so Disney is not getting Deadpool, X-Men, FF. Yes, they are. That's Fox. So that's still going through. That's still happening. And then we were talking about that's one of the reasons why. Well, I said it, and I think you guys agree. One of the reasons why they're doing the reshoots for the end of Dark Phoenix is to kind of work in some of that stuff. That's all Fox. So this is Sony.
Yeah, where would you pick that up? I guess must have confused the companies because that's the whole. That's like the whole. Oh, that's the biggest part of the whole thing with that. It's just like we're getting all these properties back. Like
biggest for us. So it's actually a small piece of the whole pie for them. But yeah. Mr. Redon said Silver Sable straight to DVD. Looking forward to Silk. Jackpot straight to VHS. There you go.
Oh,
not even worth a disc.
Yeah. You know what's
so that? Like Goodwill stores.
All right. I would like to. So now I want to go out on them now and try to predict how much you think her first appearance is going to be by the time that movie comes out. Because I guarantee it's got to be in like quarter bins or something stupid like that.
All the cheap books are already scooped off of eBay. I was looking today.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is like, but just as a like, because you can't possibly sit there like, gotta have that jackpot in my collection. Gotta have bullshit,
Yeah.
bullshit. That book is gonna get to be like $10. Doesn't that make you sick a little bit?
Okay, so it's a free comic book day book that she first appeared in.
So it was free, and then it's gonna
Yeah.
be like a $10 book or more.
There was a free comic book day one with her, and then there was another lady who was it, and that was in 546. That was like the brand new day. I think it was the first Dan Slott. Pretty sure it was the 546 was the first Dan Slott issue. I think.
Oh.
On Spider-Man.
It's just funny, man. It cracks me up a little bit, but it's all right. I think a lot of this too is kind of Sony being like, "I'll be good," you know. Like you can put some characters, like you guys can put some characters in our movies, and you know, oh, we'll let you use some of my guys too, and you know, just don't buy us out, please.
Yeah,
because that's gonna be the next logical step. Is like, look, we're buying these characters back. We're gonna do this right, and I don't know. Stick to making video games, Sony. Do what you do best.
Remember, that was my prediction. If Venom doesn't do well, is they're gonna go back and revisit the whole negotiation, and they're gonna buy their characters from Sony, because Sony's struggling still with money. You know, they've had some hits, but they're still not good in financially.
So here's what we all gotta do. All right, everybody, right now, concerted effort. Well, you gotta really think what you want here. Now, I know people want to see, you know, they're excited for a Venom movie and all the rest of it. But I mean, wouldn't you rather see Marvel doing that stuff? So if you want Marvel to have it back and Disney and all that jazz to go ahead and make these things, you know, with no strings attached, just straight out, you know, as good as they can do, don't go see Venom. Plain and simple. Don't watch Venom.
Yeah. So
I'm dead serious. Don't spend the money to go see that. Because Sony will sell off, then we'll get what we want. Now, if you're going to be impetuous and be like, oh, I have to see Venom, I have to, and make it do well, then you have no one to blame but yourself when they can't get the Venom you like into everything else, and then there's hindrances and stories get changed because they can't use the correct characters and all that jazz. Just saying. I know what my vote is. I want to see Venom. But if it's to get back Spider-Man and 900 other characters to the MCU that they can use at any time, I'm gonna set this one out.
But I don't believe it's a good thing for one company to rule everything. I just feel like that's how things kind of get ruined.
Absolutely, it is.
But here's the thing, though. Okay, so I get what you're saying about Sony. Maybe their comic book related movies might not have, well, they haven't done so well in the past, at least not recently.
Video games, PlayStation 5, work on that.
But they might not be, you know, they might not be losing money all the time, because you still got take the comic book movies out. You still got Scenario, Day of the Soldado, Peter Rabbit. You got Equalizer 2, Alpha, Hotel Transylvania. So you got a lot of other movies outside of the comic book related universe, but
but they're gonna be able to get billions of dollars off of that. They're not gonna make billions of dollars off of all those titles. Like, they're not gonna make the same money they're gonna make by selling it.
I think as long as they just turn a profit, that's really what matters. But my question is, how many of these properties that Jesse mentioned are going to be animated movies, like Miles Morales and Silk? I mean, they all don't have to be live action.
Yeah,
Silk's gonna be live action.
Oh, Silk's gonna be live action?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I thought she was gonna show up in
she'll be there too.
Yeah.
Oh, she's gonna be in both.
I mean, they'll use
she'll be in Into the Spider-Verse with all the other Spider folk.
Yeah. Like, what I'm saying is just that, you know, so Sony's a big company, and it's just like the movies are just a part of what they have. Like, they have a lot more, and I guess in general that kind of their numbers are down across the board a little bit.
Well, once their electronics department or whatever, what do you call it?
Division.
Division. There you go. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Started not doing so well. You know, that used to be like that
was it.
Oh, Sony components. Let's get out. Nobody really.
Yeah.
Still off their computer line, which I used to buy.
Like, what's it called? Beats took them out of the head. Like Sony headphones used to be like the top, and then all of a sudden Beats came out, and I mean, not just them, but other people started focusing on making these really high end, like incredible headphones, and that kind of took a little bit of a market away. They're not.
You still got Bose. I don't think they're gonna dominate Bose.
Well, I was gonna say, like home stereo equipment. as well. Like they don't have as many presents. Like they don't have the same presence that they used to in like a Best Buy.
Exactly.
They're still doing well in televisions, like televisions, DVD players, and stuff like that. Like they're doing fine. In video games, same deal. But it's just like, but overall, that they're not in the same seat that they used to be. Where it's like, you know, if you want, you know, the best quality is Sony. That's where that Sony was just that go to.
Yeah, you get the Sony TV or the Sony Vio or the Sony CD player, you know?
Yeah.
The Sony alarm clock.
Exactly. It's a different story. And it's just like, you know, it's because a lot of things have changed too. Just because, I mean, because they used to all, you know, music was a big deal for them too. It's like CDs and stuff. And now it's just like you have MP3s and you know, Apple and iTunes and Spot. Like, everything's changed so much for them that like they're trying to keep up as best as they can.
Yeah.
And I think really one of the only things that's like, you know, one of the only things that's really working for them is, you know, gaming right now. Like gaming's like a bread and butter. And then you have, you know, these movies on the side. So it's just like, you know, I don't know. I'm saying from a greedy point of view, don't go see it. Let Marvel have it. But well, I mean,
I think what they're doing is they're learning from what Disney is doing, and I think that they realize they have a lot more at their disposal than what they. I just think that they were so narrow-minded, just so focused on Spider-Man that they didn't realize the potential of what they could do, and now they're realizing it, and now they're starting to see that they could branch out a little bit. But my thing is that you have to have a comic or a couple comic book related geeks involved in order to make this work, because when you're in your ivory tower making decisions for these comic book related characters that you know nothing about, it just doesn't translate to success like they thought.
The thing with this is that like the only movie that they've made that let's put it this way, the only recent movie they've made that's like been actually good quality was Homecoming, and the reason being is because Marvel was involved. If Marvel's not involved in that, it's always going to be a step under. Like Marvel has to be involved in some way, shape, or form. So like that's why I say at some point it's gonna go over to them, just because it's like you guys know how to make this right. I'm not saying that they can't make a good movie. It's just it doesn't even matter about the resources and all the rest of it. It's just the fact that, you know, you have Disney and Marvel together like that. They're able to operate. If they're able to operate with no strings attached, movies are going to become way better. Like if you look, if everybody can agree, Infinity War was very good. But if you had the inclusion of, you know, like Silver Surfer and other characters that were big in the story, to have a 2-part movie of Infinity War, like that would be like just the Infinity, like, so Infinity Gauntlet and then, you know, Infinity War together. Like it would be insane to think about how you could have that. Like the stuff that you could put on screen would be, I mean, it would blow some other stuff out the water. And that's the thing is that, you know, I think that in terms of them, like you're seeing a lot of spaghetti up against the wall with just like making a Morbius movie, they're making a Jackpot movie. Why? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like even if you're gonna look
Jackpot,
that's what I'm saying. If you're gonna look at characters and say, okay, look, we have all these characters. What movie can we make? A fucking Sinister Six movie. You know what I'm saying? Make something that makes sense. Like why would you get this obscure character and give that person a movie that makes no damn sense? Yeah. Like you have 900 characters. Surely out of those 900, you have to have something that's like, all right, like we can match a few of these guys together and do something great. I think a Craven movie would be cool. I think a Morbius movie, unless it's like super horror or it has something to do with like, you know, like Legion of Monsters type stuff, where it's just like you have Ghost Rider and other characters, or if you have Blade in there in some way, shape, or form, something that has something that makes sense out of it.
I'm wondering how that Morbius helmet that fishbowl helmet is gonna translate to live action.
You mean Mysterio?
Did I say Morbius? Yeah, Mysterio.
Yeah.
I don't see that like.
I mean, it's a fishbowl. Do you really need to do a whole lot to that?
Yeah, but I mean, is that gonna be scary and imposing to you, or is that just gonna look cheesy?
He's just gonna have to always have smoke around him.
Right?
Yeah, you know.
Yeah,
like his face has a built-in smoke machine or something.
You see like a goldfish swirling around, swimming around in his helmet.
I'm concerned that you know, picking out all these villains. Like we're gonna just give they're picking out a bunch of villains and stuff, and we're gonna just give them a standalone, like a Dr. Octopus movie standalone. If Spider-Man is not in it, it doesn't make any fucking sense. At least to me, it's just like, so what's the end game in this? Like, so he's gonna go ahead and just go through this. Like, who's he gonna fight? Who's gonna stop him from basically taking over New York City? Like, there's got to be something that's why like Venom. They have a good thing where it's like, okay, we're gonna use Lethal Protector, so he's not a villain. And we're gonna make him into, you know, a hero that we can kind of, you know, deal with and this and that. But he's
on the other side of the country, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, you know, we're gonna skip all the stuff that like everything that was like all his origin and the evil part of him. We're gonna get rid of that. And we're just gonna go right to this.
Yeah,
that's great. But then it's just like, okay, so then what else can you do with him from that point? And it's just like, you know, it's gonna be a lot of just. I mean, if you're just gonna make movies to make movies, and I know that, you know, Unknown is joking when he's saying straight to VHS, but this is like, what can you do with it? Like, what can you? I mean, like that's all I'm saying. It's just like, it's just.
Yeah, I think they are kind of they are trying to get away from that, like we were talking about with Spider-Man. That's kind of like the bread and butter at this point in terms of these. So they're trying to like see what they can do to get away from that and branch out from that and not have to have that be like a ball and chain that, you know, is holding. But so I not that I agree with it necessarily, but I think that's kind of, you know, some of the motivation there is they're trying to get away from everything has to have Spider-Man attached to it, or, you know.
And not all these movies have to have a $250 million budget either.
Yeah.
I mean, most of them pretty sure be like the $60 to $100 million range, at least for the first movie, until they can see whether that is successful or not. But Chris, I want to ask you, are you going to see Venom at theaters?
I mean, just for me saying, "Oh, don't see it," and I'll give it over. I mean, that's not going to do anything. Like I don't have that kind of influence. But I mean,
no, I'm just curious. I mean,
I just, I mean, I want to. I'm curious to see what it is and how it is. I just like, because what the worst thing that can happen for them. I mean, literally, honestly, the worst thing that can happen isn't that people don't go see it; is that people see it and don't like it. That's the worst thing that can happen, because it made people spend all this money, and it's like, so I like let's say they make, you know, let's say over like $200 million, you know, with that movie, and everybody's pissed. You won't get like they won't come back to see what you did, what you have next. I don't think it's gonna end up being that big of a dud or anything like that. I think it's, you know, I think it might be a little bit different from what people are expecting and want, but I think it has. I think that it has enough there to be, you know, a decent movie. I just, you know, we'll see what happens. Like I'll go see it. I don't know if I'll see it in the theater necessarily. Like it's not one I'm gonna go run out. Like I have to see it right now. Like it'll probably be a movie I'll go see if I have some time. You know, but I'm just saying. I'm just, you know, just throwing it out there. You know, if we all just band together as a community. Okay.
I don't know. See, like at the end of the day, for me, it's a comic book movie. I just kind of have to see it, even if it's horrible and like, you know, I got to see it.
Yeah, no, we're just one side of it. You know what I'm saying? Like we have our opinion. You know, we want to see this, but the truth of the matter is that there's going to be a lot more people that go and see it that don't even care about. Like, some people probably think, oh, so this is a horror movie. Let's go see it, and you're like,
yeah. They won't even notice he doesn't have Spider-Man on his chest, or a white spider on his chest.
Like, yo, that horror movie Venom was crazy. Like, I never heard of this thing before, but it was cool. It's like, you know, this metal alien ate this guy's face. Like, somebody who's not a comics fan's explanation of it, if they like it, especially if they're so far, it's gonna be hilarious. It's like, all right, so what did you see on the screen? You tell me what you think you saw. Like, so there's going to be a lot of people that's like that just have no idea what it is, and they're going to go ahead and enjoy it, and that's fine. You know, like I said, I hope that it is, you know, worth people going out and seeing, just because. What I can say is that even though people be like, oh, like I want to see this done by these people, nobody wants to hear that like these movies are failing, because it's always fragile and the market's very fickle. And it's just like, you know, if somebody comes along and decides, hey, listen, these things are all done, there's nothing left for them, that's it. Because a few of them flopped from different places, that's not what you want. So it's just like, so long as they're good and people like enjoy them, then we'll keep getting them. But once they start to fall, you know, into the category of not being good anymore, that's when we get trouble.
I bet if it doesn't do well, you're going to hear people like, oh, it didn't do well. Comic book movies are over. It's just like, you know. So this article, it's funny, we're talking about Venom. You know, I mentioned that they're open to doing movies like Logan or Deadpool, so rated R. So this article said they're open to that, but Venom won't be the first rated R movie. It's going to be PG-13.
Yeah.
So it's going to be pushing the limits of that, but not rated R. So, you know, you might see him bite off the face, but there won't be like the blood splatting on the camera. Or whatever.
Wait, Venom's not going to be rated R?
It's not going to be rated R. And the reason why they mentioned why,
gosh.
because they want eventually. So Tom Holland, Tom Hardy, and the studio all said at different times that they want this to happen, is for Venom to meet Spider-Man. If it's rated R, the look and feel of a rated R movie for Venom with a PG-13, like, fun, 4-quadrant movie for Spider-Man would be too far different of those two movie styles for them to meet and have it kind of be natural to those two. So they want to kind of both have them PG-13 and increase the likelihood of that being more of a seamless kind of meetup.
Yeah,
is their reasoning for it. So,
because, and that's one thing I would say too. Like, I mean, how easy do you think it would be, like, for people in general to, after seeing Logan, to have Wolverine go back to being in an X-Men movie? It's just like, I mean, because if you're used to see, I mean, the level of violence that was in Logan versus what you're gonna see, the level of violence of Wolverine in just an X-Men movie is so different.
Yeah, and you don't want that. I mean, you're not going to see that level of violence ever in a Spider-Man movie, or you know what I mean? It's just not happening unless it's like a Max or Marvel Knights type thing,
right?
Yeah, but even then, I don't see them going like, this is gonna be the, this is the gritty Spider-Man. No way.
Yeah.
Spider-Man still like Spider-Man still at some point has a conscience. He's not gonna sit there and just like start slaughtering people.
Yeah. So let's get into Fantastic Four. The book obviously came out when Yesterday. Yeah. So we won't do spoilers because I don't think everybody's probably had a chance to read it. Hopefully, you guys picked up your copies. Yep. But let me ask you before we talk about. So there was 3 different stories in it. So before we talk about those, what covers did you go for? There was a lot of different variant covers. So did you go for the art germs or something else?
I went with just the cover A because the art germs were $15 a piece at my shop.
Oh wow!
Oh my god!
Well, you know what's crazy is that even the cover A, $5.99 price tag, man. That's that stings. That stings. I mean, I can say honestly myself, I didn't pick it up because of you going to Fan Expo, Boston Comic Con. I figured I would just put that on the back burner for a little bit. But the $5.99 price tag is kind of tough to deal with. I mean, for me personally, I look at it where it's just like that's a lot of money. Not a lot of money, but that's just asking a lot for a comic. But if I was gonna go for one, I would want to go for the Scotty Young, just because those I love like those covers are fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Scotty Young is fun.
Yeah. So all right, cool. So I wanted the art germs.
Yeah.
Cover price. I like that on that. So
nice.
Yeah. A lot of shops were selling them as a 4-pack. Like if you wanted them, you had to get like all 4.
Wow.
So, Justin, check out what Brian B says in the chat. So he might be able to hook you up with something there. So cool.
Nice.
It happens to coincide with Fantastic Four #1, the first one that came out 8/8 of 1961. So pretty cool. Something like 57 years, if I'm doing my math right.
Yeah.
And that was obviously Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. So at the beginning of this, there was a cool little, tribute, I guess, to Jack Kirby. So it was nice to see that included. They ran through like briefly the history of who's been on the book, all these like really legendary names, all the way up to Hickman, and then they kind of went through Dan Slott's bio. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
What do you mean, Steve Ditko, right?
Well, they also
they also had a Ditko thing in there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right? Yeah.
Yep.
I thought it was just Ditko. I didn't remember seeing Kirby. I'll have to look again.
There was something in there for or maybe I'm just mixing my names up. I don't know. I do that all the time. So there was 3 different stories. The first one was called Signal in the Sky. It was Dan Slott. So each one had Dan Slott writing them all, but different artists. So this was Dan Slott and Sarah Pacelli. And this, honestly, of the 3, was my favorite. It was pretty much really like a family-driven story, and it was revolving around Johnny and Ben and how they've been dealing with things since Reed and Sue and the kids went basically missing at the end of Secret Wars.
Yeah.
So still kind of going through this whole story with just the two of them. No villain or anything in this part of it. It was just kind of them dealing with, you know, we all lose people, so it was dealing with loss and how that kind of affects them. So, and not just them, it was dealing with society too. So there was a scene with the Yancey Street Gang, and they had a flare, and they shot up a flare, and it was like the Fantastic Four thing, and like all over the news, and it was like, is the Fantastic Four back, and all this stuff. So I won't give away the ending, but I will say for me, this was my favorite of the three, and I would give this, if I was going to rate it, 4 out of 5 stars. So it's pretty strong opening for it. The next one, however, was still Dan Slott, but it had Simone Bianchi on it.
Yeah,
it's a pretty good artist, so that was probably the best part of this. It was basically all about Dr. Doom. Took place in Doomstadt, and kind of like the whole thing was just about Doom's face. And I'm like, what is the point of this? And I did not like it at all. So for me, this one, I gave it a 2 out of 5 stars.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I did not like it really at all. And then the third one was super short. It was just a few panels, like just 2 pages maybe. And this one was Dan Slott and Scotty Young. It had like Mr. Impossible Man on it. And they were, it was basically Mr. Impossible acknowledging the fact that people were going to be like, we got Fantastic Four #1 back, but we don't have all 4 of them yet. Like, what the hell? And he's like, I promise in the second issue, you'll have all 4 of them, is basically what he said. Which is not a spoiler alert, because, you know, that's a whole different story than, I guess, kind of that first story is like the main thing. And the other 2 were like backup stories. So this is not really a spoiler for that. And it was really, like I said, 2 pages. So
and when they say 4, does that mean really 6?
It's got to be, yeah. So the Valeria and Franklin will be back too,
right?
So,
well, I want to ask you guys a question. I only read half of it. I didn't have time to finish it. But in the first half, I noticed the character Astronomica. Was that a first appearance?
First appearance, yeah.
Oh yes. So the #1 is she wasn't completely useless. I don't know. I like this. Sarah, what's her name? Sarah Pacelli.
Pacelli, yeah.
I was definitely a fan of her on Ultimate Spider-Man, so I'm fine with the artwork. And the story was actually pretty good. I wasn't too big on the $5.99 price point.
Yeah.
That's pretty expensive for a comic, even though it was kind of thick. But what I read so far, I liked, and I'll probably finish it up tonight.
Only a matter of time before we're paying $10 a book.
Oh my gosh, don't say that.
I'm telling you.
That'll be it's like one 2-book new comic book day is what that'll be.
I know, right?
Exactly right.
Like the shortest comic book hauls every week.
I will literally stick to back issues at that point.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Going in the dollar bins, picking up some stuff, and guess what? I got some like meaningful back issues that I'm looking to collect my run with, because
just trade weight. You know, you get like the first five issues in the volume 1 of a trade paperback.
But think about what the prices of trades will be.
Yeah,
they'll jack those.
You know what though? It'll balance out, because if you go to like somewhere like Barnes and Noble, they always have like a buy one get one half, or buy 2 get the
Bet you get one free.
You know what? No problem with that.
And if you sign with their email, they actually send you a lot of coupons.
Yeah. So there's a ton of like. Well, we'll see. Because I mean, I'm hoping that they pump the brakes on that and just take it easy on us collectors, because like they're definitely. I mean, I can understand this one being more expensive because of the fact that it's that first issue. You know what I mean? And they loaded up with a lot of other stuff, but $5.99 definitely. Like I said, it stings when you see it. Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. It's just the first one. I mean, if issue #2 was $5.99, then we get a problem.
Yeah, or even $4.99. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, it depends. It depends on where they're gonna go with it. Just because, I mean, it's all in what people are willing to pay, and some people will pay that, and then that's how it becomes the standard, and it goes up. So you never know. You never know.
Looks like it'll be $3.99.
Yeah.
I can dig that.
forward.
Once a month or bi-weekly?
This would be once a month.
I can get down with that.
Yeah.
Unless you're like Legend, he's probably buying like 5 copies of each that comes out.
I'm sure you got multiple of the covers and everything. Like, I mean, you gotta figure. I mean, for the completionists who love getting all those covers and everything. I mean, you probably dropped a pretty penny on Wednesday, being like, all right, look, I need all these covers, as many covers as I can get, plus the ones I ordered, plus you know what I mean. So it's that's one of the things that's kind of crazy about when they have these big anniversary issues. But
the second issue is also going to feature new code names for Franklin and Valeria, so they're getting their own superhero names.
It's fantastic and Dada.
Yeah, I don't know what they'll be.
It was I mean, for one I read so far, it was a good read. I'm kind of glad Fantastic Four is back.
Yeah,
and I saw that they also did it with the not just the #1, but the legacy numbering as well.
Yeah, right. It'll be 601, right? I think it's
646.
Yeah. I mean, I think it could be a fun thing.
I'm thinking of X-Men. Sorry.
I think it could be a fun thing to have back, and then also just when you do have crossovers and stuff, to have Reed and them back in the fold like that, because I will say that for everything concerned, I mean all the big events in the past and everything like that, like the Fantastic Four have always been a part of, they're heroes that. Oh, they're a team that other big hero teams have turned to when they have trouble. It's like, especially when they need something figured out, they go to Reed and they look. I need you to take a look at this. Like, we can't put our heads together and figure this out. So it's just like they've always been really just a mainstay. So to have so long of a drought without them, definitely I think fans notice and fans want it back. So it's a good thing to have them back.
Yeah. Do you guys read Marvel 2-in-1?
Yeah.
So that's kind of that's Johnny and Ben basically, right?
Yeah. That one's been strong since it started.
Yeah. So this kind of has that same feel, I guess you could say. So if you like that, that story, and you haven't checked this out, I would give it a chance. I think you'll like it. That being said, I'm glad that everybody else is coming back, because I don't want like a redundant book, basically. You know,
that can only go for so long with just them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So,
but my assumption is that they're like the 2 most popular out of the 4, and then their personalities always kind of going against each other a little bit too.
Well, yeah, they're like a buddy comedy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They've always had that dynamic, but I think what this story tries to put together, and there's different parts in the story, but there's one where they kind of acknowledge all these different things, and you hear Johnny kind of basically saying like why he needs the other 2 back, like what, not to say that we're the most popular and this is it, like he kind of lets people know what it is that they're missing from there, and and then there's other people who also weigh in and give opinions on like what they think, what the Fantastic Four, all 4 of them, mean to them. So it's just like it like. It's funny that they did it in that way, just because it's kind of like something that it's almost like the fans speaking out on their own, saying like what the team means to them, like who they liked, who they what it is that really kind of stands out to them about each person. So like I said, they're definitely one of the mainstays of the Marvel universe, and it's just good to have them. It's good that even if it's not all in this one issue, it's good to have the prospect that they're back, and then they're going to be doing new adventures and seeing where they go from there. Because, I mean, but for the fact that Reed and Sue and them have been gone for so long, to see them back in the universe is going to be kind of cool. Reed, because Reed's always thinking, always doing something, so he's probably got some type of thing, brewing in mind that's like, hey man, check this out. When I was away, I was working on this thing. It's gonna be, and he'll, probably start some new disaster with it. But, it's just something that it's gonna be fun to watch.
Exactly. So hopefully it'll stick around. I'm glad. I feel like this is reinvigorating Dan Slott. So I'm excited for that prospect too. For
people are mad at Dan Slott for a while, man.
Yeah. Like
Oh,
enough.
hopefully
Yeah.
they get them a new, like kind of like in wrestling, the face turn. It's like, oh, like no, they're gonna cheer for this guy all of a sudden. Like he saved the other guy, so let's see what he can do.
He went from Hollywood Hogan back to just Hogan.
That's right. Yeah, it's like he's in the yellow and red. What's going on here? So, all right, Dan, it's up to you now. If you let's put it this way: if you don't do what you're supposed to, we can't help you. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Well, he can't mess up a book that not too many people really cared about until recently.
Nah, people. That's the thing. I think that's a misconception. That's what I say about them being main. I think it's a misconception that people had, and like, well, no one cared about towards the end.
Well, I don't mean no one. I mean, how long have they been gone for? They've been gone for like 4 or 5 years, right?
Longer than that.
The Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Oh no, but their own book. They haven't had their own book since what, 2012?
It was running like right up until almost Secret Wars started.
Yeah, that's where
when they had
the
the red
Illuminati was. All the incursions were happening.
Yeah,
But not a lot of people bought that final issue of Fantastic Four. Is my point.
probably not.
Well, yeah, because at that point, it's almost like.
I think that Hickman stuff was too much for some people.
Oh, I agree. It was a little too like
awesome.
my mind isn't really trying to go.
Great.
My mind isn't trying to go that deep when it comes to comic books. But when they announced the last issue of Spider-Man with number 700, dude, like that was on the news and everything. Everybody was buying that book up. But when it comes to the Fantastic Four, like very few people cared about it.
But I think people also understood why though too, because it was just like they made no secret about it. Like, look, we don't have the rights to the movie, so they're going away. And I think that what happened is that
they were even taking them off of like merchandising. Like there were some shirts, like some really classic covers. Like I'm trying to think of one. Anyways, you could get like a shirt with a print of like a famous cover art. Yeah, so they would have those. But they would not only just print that, but they would actually take the Fantastic Four off of that cover art.
Yeah.
So it would be like Secret Wars #1, but no Fantastic Four anywhere on there.
Right. They did the same thing with the X-Men.
Yeah.
For a while. And it's just and that I think pissed a lot of people off because it's just like, well, so for them it almost seemed like, all right, so you're just calling it in and not even caring about what you do, so why should we buy this? Because like it's gonna be and I think that's why the Kirkman stuff really got I mean, outside of it being a little different, I think it also got just a bad reputation because it's just like this guy, like it for them, for a lot of people, I think they're not even trying. So like these stories are stupid. Like, so
yeah,
I'm not gonna waste my time on this.
So yeah. So with that being in mind, like the whole marketing aspect and just how like in tune that is for Marvel, the timing for this coming back, I think something to be said for that. And I would think they might be talking about Fantastic Four movie down the road, just over into Marvel. I think that's like being talked about in the war room. It's in one of the stacks on Feige's desk or something, I think that and they do this a lot with the movies. They'll do like the prequel book, or like suddenly this character's back and whoa, there's a movie 6 months down the road. That's not a funny coincidence. So I think that we might see something on the Marvel Studios side in the near to somewhat kind of not near future.
Yeah. The Baxter building, something that kind of gives it away.
Yeah. Right, exactly. Maybe instead of Oscorp, the Vulture was trying to attack the Baxter building.
Right.
So maybe it was supposed to be Oscorp, but maybe they'll have that like spin on it. Yeah. And that's kind of like, I don't know, that's Sony's attached to that, so maybe not. I don't know. I'm thinking too much about it.
Well, I think it would be, instead of, so let's say, Pac is still doing, he's still doing the thing, but like, the basically the whole stock internship thing, now that's not true, it's been exposed as a lie, like, because, at the end of Homecoming, Aunt May's like, what the fuck is it? She was just like going off, so she knows it's a lie, but maybe he actually gets a legit, like, scholarship or something to like, come to the Baxter building. Like we have, I'm gonna be, I'm doing some new stuff like with school. I'm doing a co-op over at the Baxter building. Like, you know what I mean? Something like that. Something where it's like, oh, that's pretty cool.
A Richards internship.
Yeah, Richards, just even a business card or something like that. Like, here's a guy you might want to talk to about some science stuff. Oh, cool. Like little. I mean, it's little things that you can do, like little small, but it would be pretty cool. I mean, it would just be like, just put it in there, and then like that's gonna get everybody like excited. And if it doesn't come out for, let's say, like 2-3 years, it's okay. Like no one's gonna freak out too much about it, because it's like, all right, but we at least know that they exist in this universe. It's not like we're speculating, like, well, where are they? What's going on? Like they're here.
Yeah. So maybe back in the 90s is where they were. And they somehow disappeared because of his technology.
Yeah. And they missed
Captain Marvel stuff, and then time travel with the quantum realm, and they'll be coming back after Avengers 4.
Yep.
I don't know. All right. Yeah. Let's talk about what's going on for Sunday morning comics. That's coming up on Sunday.
That's right.
Sunday
morning comics.
Yeah.
Right.
So we'll be doing that. So come check it out over at Exhaust State Comics every Sunday morning at 10. Going over some fun topics. We got some stuff to catch up on, so it should be a good show. I received a box of goodies from a good friend of ours in Hawaii.
Ah, yes.
So if you know who that is, or might have a speculation on who that man is, you know that there's probably something really fun in this box, because I only talked to him about one book, and there's way more than that in there.
Yeah, and that person doesn't hold back.
That's right.
So, yeah. Very cool. Be excited to see what's in there. And that's what time?
That's right. That's Sunday morning at 10 a.m.
10 a.m. All right.
Sunday.
Sunday morning.
If you wake up, at 10 a.m. Pacific time, you're gonna miss it. You gotta get up at 7. Sorry.
You just have to watch it on the rewind at that point.
You can watch it on the rewind, but why would you want to do that? Just get
right. You want to be in the chat, man.
Exactly. Because you missed the action. Whole other element.
Yeah. Just like the chat here. That's where all the people are. That's where all the action is.
Right.
That's where you want to be. Yeah.
Right.
So, all right, cool. Chris, what do you got going on? I know you said you're doing a lot of prep, so you're still doing that and the vids that you were talking about?
Just getting everything ready for the con. Man, like I'm gonna do my best to see if I can get everything ready enough tomorrow. So maybe do like a preview video and say, like, these are stuff I'm gonna try to see if I can get signed. This is who I'm hoping to see and everything like that, if I can. If not, then I will just put up videos of what I got signed and everything else. So there'll be a lot of stuff coming out from the channel. This is the crazy part for me, in the summertime, getting all this stuff together and ready and everything. So and then being prepared to walk around with a big bag full of comics, around this convention center for the next I think Saturday is going to be probably close to like 12 hours of just walking around and everything like that. So
yeah,
it's gonna be an experience.
Nice. All right, cool. Yeah, we'll be looking forward to all those videos coming up. So very cool.
Yep.
And that is Boston Chris Comics. Check them out on YouTube. All right, Edwin.
I'm actually getting ready for my second show a week from Sunday. Be doing my second comic book show. It's a small show, just $5 to get in. And be trying to push the pressing business. That's pretty much it.
There you go.
Just getting ready for that.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Business cards and all that made, ready to go?
I got to finalize designs and hopefully have them finalized by tomorrow or Saturday at the latest.
Right.
Cool. Awesome. I have to bring some of those with you.
Yeah, to Atlanta.
Yep.
ATL.
Yep. So we're folks, we're doing the countdown. We got about 3 weeks left till the big old centennial episode. The big old extravaganza at Dragon Con, when I'm sure we'll all be live together. Except Chris, unfortunately. We'll have to have you dial in somehow. We'll phone a friend and we'll get you in there somehow. So, yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. I get back issues. No, wait. I did back issues. I got new issues to show. So that should be coming up. Should be doing a super talk on Saturday. Skip last week. There was an issue with another channel, with the link, kind of doing the open link thing that we do. So they had an issue with that. They do have another channel now. I will put a link in the description for this, for Comic Core, for Rich and Chad.
Did you say Comic Core?
No,
Core.
Green Lantern Core.
It's core, C-O-R-P-S. I know a lot of people say corpse, but that's wrong. That's a whole dead body. It's core, like Marine Corps, you know. So Comic Core. And that's reviews from the Batcave. They have a brand new channel, and that's where they do the whole thing now. So pretty cool. So because of that, trying to figure out something a little bit different to do, so we don't have that same issue happen here.
Yeah.
So what I'll probably do, and I haven't run this by you guys yet, but we can talk about it, is that I'll put up a link for like Facebook. You know, hit me up on Facebook, kind of like to vet people that way.
Yeah.
You know,
Facebook
say, hey,
or Instagram, something like that.
yeah, send me a message, be like, yo, I want to be on the show. You know, can I have the link? And if we know you or whatever, then I'll give you the link to get on there. So that might be
judged.
That's right. So there'll be a I guess 2-step authentication process. So that's probably how we'll do it. But that will be 5:30 Eastern here on this channel on Saturday. So that's pretty much it. Might do a review or something. Movies. I've been having fun doing the movie reviews. You know, getting some good responses here on the tubes from that. So probably do some more with that. So it's pretty cool. And I do want to shout out everybody in the chat. Thank you for being here for episode 96. Also, everybody, if you're listening later on, leave a comment, thoughts and opinions on anything we talked about. Also, don't forget we have that Deadpool going on about who's going to die in Heroes in Crisis. So let us know your thoughts on that. And, you know, if you're on streaming, come join us on Thursday nights on YouTube. Love to have you over here as well. But if not, still cool. Thanks for listening. And that'll do it. Episode 96, Comic Conversation. Have a good night, y'all.
Thanks, everybody.
Don't watch Lawrence Well, please.